Monday night was a pretty incredible night across the board in the NBA.
Yeah.
Two of the games we were at separately. We'll start with yours. Cade Cunningham, the 40-point triple-double, leading his team to a win, but also missing, I guess, the record of most field goals in a game. How was that experience being there? What was your biggest takeaway?
If you watch the game, then you would realize he wasn't just like chucking up shots. If you look at the statistics, if you look at the scorecard, which I never like to do, it's tough because you can't watch every game. So when you can't watch every game, you go to the stat sheet and the box score, and you look at people's numbers and you indicate what type of night they had based off of that. He was unbelievable the entire game. They were coming off a back-to-back. He had just took over the game the night before in Philly, where he had 24 points
And
in the second half.
he dunked on your guy Andre Drummond pretty bad.
He did punch on my guy. I didn't like that. I didn't think that was respectful. But nah,
he's sneaky
was,
athletic a little bit, kind of what Paul Pierce was when he was young.
It's actually a really good comparison.
Yeah.
In terms of his athleticism, like it is sneaky like that. People forget like Paul Pierce was in like the McDonald's dunk contest. Like he actually could get up and dunk on you. It's actually a good comparison. Yeah, Cade's the same way in that regard. He's had 5 games in a row with 20 or more in the second half. The kid is a stud. That game, every shot he shot was a good shot. He was getting wherever he wanted. I can't tell you how many layups or like just simple shots that usually Cade would hit, he missed. It just was one of those nights. With that being said, he just kept shooting. Sasser was out. Jaden Ivey was out. Asar Thompson was out. Tobias Harris was out. Isaiah Stewart was out. They had their whole team out. So it was Cade, Jalen Duren, and pretty much just a bunch of guys fighting to get more minutes or guys who were getting an opportunity to play. Jenkins was one of those kids who actually had an unbelievable night. Was a game changer for them. Hit 2 of the game-winning shots. He hit the game-tying shot, and then even the play before hit a big shot. Had multiple game-winning plays. Really happy for that young man. But yeah, the headlines wasn't Pistons won, Cade 40-point triple-double. It was how many shots Cade took. But if you were there watching the game, I can't tell you how many. He didn't take one bad shot. He might have took maybe one bad shot the entirety of the game. All 40-plus attempt shots by him were good looks. He just was missing. But you could see right out the gate, their coach and him was like, yo, you're going to have to be like over the top aggressive. We don't have our guys tonight. So if he doesn't shoot that many times, the Pistons don't win that game. So there's a reason before that night, Cade has never shot 40-plus shots. You know what I mean? So it's like, it'd be like if the Magic played and Franz was out and Desmond Bane was out and Wendell Carter was out and whoever, Tyus Jones was out. You take
and you're on a back-to-back.
Yeah, and on a back-to-back.
All right.
Paulo would probably be like, I might have to shoot 30-something plus times tonight, 40 times tonight to get this win. And they're in overtime. So it's just like, and it was a trap game. They're playing the worst team in the league who's had their best game of the season. The Wizards are playing their ass off because the Wizards could sniff like, hey, we can get our second win tonight. This is the game we can win. Their team is depleted of injury and they're on a back-to-back. We can get this one. So they're playing like their best basketball. CJ was absolutely frying. So like Cade had to, he had to do it. It is what it is. Him and CJ at one point were going back and forth. A lot of good basketball. And then I get off air and I realize across the board of the league, there was like multiple game winners and multiple great games. Donovan Mitchell hit a game tying shot, and then Desmond Bane hit a heave, hell of a shot to beat Portland.
Blazers, yeah.
So yeah, great night for basketball. The most impressive thing I'll take is the statistics of the views and ratings and how high they are. And this is without LeBron James, someone who has kind of dictated the pace of which the NBA is being seen. Let's just be honest. He's the most notable athlete we've had in our sport since MJ. And, with him being out, our ratings have still been able to be sky high, which is encouraging. We've always worried about that. That's how important he is to the game. Him, Steph, specifically. But the NBA continues to do its thing, which has been great. And these young stars, Cade Cunningham, Paulo, all these guys we're naming, are off to fast starts, having incredible seasons so far. Well, Paolo and the Magic are kind of.
Well, they're turning the tide. They're turning the tide a little bit. Last night's win was huge. We'll get to that. Before we move off the Cade thing, I want to ask you something that was asked to me, and I've texted to you in the group chat, so you've had a couple days to maybe wrestle with it. But for the rest of their career, I was asked, who are you taking, Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards?
It's a valid question. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
So if you're on the Anthony Edwards side, you're like, listen, I've been in the Olympics. I've been a part of the face of the league, of the upcoming guys. I have the personality, and I've been to the conference finals 2 years in a row. I have the stats of everything to prove it.
Am I a GM? You're asking me to be president of a team and make that choice.
Well, you can't be a friend because I think you're leaning towards Ant in that regard.
Yeah, if it's the homie, I'm going with Ant. Yeah. If I'm the president of a team, it's a really hard choice. There's no wrong answer. Let me say that first and foremost.
Yeah.
There isn't a wrong answer in this regard. If you choose Ant, like what are we talking about? I think this is tomato with both of them. They're both top tier guards in the NBA, but they're different. Ant is more scorer oriented. I think Ant is more capable of a defender. Cade can defend too, though, so it's not like Cade's a weak defender. But Ant, I think, has a potential that could be higher, maybe in some regards. Cade can control the game better.
And I think that's what people look for now. Like in the 90s and 2000s, the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, let's say Dwayne Wade, these guys were more buckets, right? And that's what Anthony Edwards is.
Yeah, I think
Cade's more of that James Harden, Luka, like control the ball, dictate the play. Like
correct. He's a point guard.
Yeah.
He has point guard skills.
Yeah.
Ant is of that 2-guard cloth. You know what I'm saying? So Ant makes plays or gets assists off when he's just trying to score and it's not there, but he gets so much traffic and attention, he's able to find an open man and gets an assist. Cade literally is just coming down, picking and choosing when he wants to score and when he wants to get people. It's just a different type of thinking. So
different personalities too.
And different personalities, yeah. I do like Cade's personality though.
Yeah.
I like how poker face he always is. He's always just like solid. From talking to JB Bickerstaff, you know, he's like, yo, this dude is the best star I've been around. He's like, this guy has no ego. He doesn't care if he has 20 points and like Jalen Durant has 28. He like doesn't need to be the guy every night. He just is. And because he's that way, like his teammates it's just a known thing. They just encourage him. He's the guy. He doesn't have an ego like that, but he's confident as a motherfucker. He's sure of himself. He demands from his teammates in a way that they respond to, which a lot of guys, stars, aren't able to do. Again, Ant has the personality for the camera. So if you're asking me from a business standpoint,
oh, you're doing like taking sales and all that stuff. Yeah.
You know, maybe Ant.
Back in the arena.
Yeah, Ant can do that. Cade might not have that, but from a person, this is why it's like tough to answer that question, because Cade might not have those things, but he's also, because he doesn't have all of that, he's also might be easier to handle in some regards. So it's like bittersweet both sides. Ant brings things that Cade doesn't have, but Cade also brings things that Ant doesn't have. There's like pluses and minuses. So I tend to wash that out and just stick to the basketball side. The basketball side, oof, right now, I don't really see anybody better than Cade other than Shai Alexander and Luka. I think Cade's the third best guard in the NBA.
So are you buying Pistons or number one seed in the East? I'm not saying you think they're going to be the number one seed in the East at the end of the season.
I'm not buying
But you're buying them being a legit Eastern contender?
Yes, because of him only. The rest of his team is good. I like Jalen Duren. I like Isaiah Stewart. I like the toughness those guys bring. I like Duncan Robinson. Big signing for them after losing Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. They lost a lot of shooting. They still need one more shooter. They just lost a lot.
And another ball handler.
And they needed another ball handler. When they lost Schroeder, people really underestimate like what Schroeder did for Cade. It allowed Cade to sometimes be able to tap back into a 2-guard role sometimes. Right now, it's just the ball's in his hands so much you worry. I see like Jalen Brunson, or like I see some of these guys that like Trae Young. When you have the ball in your hands so much, well, if you stop him, they lose.
And in the playoffs, it's easier to game
It's
plan
easier.
for,
It's one guy. So if you can stop him, they lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like whereas like, for instance, it's why they brought Kyrie in with Luka when he was with Dallas, because now it's like you got it's just hard to game plan for two guys can do
We
it.
talked about this on the pod before. Where you were on the team with Chris Paul or James Harden or Russell Westbrook, and it's different.
It gives it's more complex. There it is. I mean, to dumb it down for the most vaguest of terms, it's just more complex of an offense when you have two guys who can do it. Now, Schroeder isn't at that level, so it's not like it was Schroeder and Cade, but Schroeder offers just playmaking and experience to where it can just alleviate certain pressures for Cade, and that's what it did. And then you add experienced shooters like a Malik Beasley or a Tim Hardaway Jr., that was vital for them. So, they did add Duncan, who's starting to come on now, shooting the ball much better. I do believe they need another shooter, and they definitely need another ball handler. Now, Ivy's been out, Sasser's been out. So when those guys come back, that could be the other ball handler. They are ball handlers. So that is. Shooting is a red flag for me on their team. They have a couple guys that can make shots consistently from three. So I would like the improvement of that area for them. If we're talking contending, or if they can get another shooter in there somewhere, that would change things, because now Cade can just dissect offenses. He has, a couple ball handlers with him. He's got, other guys. Do I think they're coming out of the East? No. Do I think they're a contender or someone who could be a thorn in people's sides? Yeah, kind of like they were last year. Now, Cade's making these steps. Maybe that's progressed.
Yeah.
That's real. Do I see them beating Cleveland in 7 games? I don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The thing about Cade too is, and the difference in their career trajectories is, Cade was drafted number 1, and they sort of built around him. But the tough thing about Ant, if you're in Ant's camp in this argument, would be he made the playoffs that one time. They all celebrated with like Jared Vanderbilt. Remember that team? And they all had Patrick Beverley, and they're waving the towel. Lost to Memphis. Then they bring in. Then Cat was injured. No, Cat played, but then Cat was out one year. Rudy's in. He had to learn how to play with that. And Cat comes back the next year. They go to the conference finals. Then he has to play around Julius Randle. It's a big change. Ant's kind of always changing and learning how to play with different teams, and still going to the conference finals and figuring out ways to win. So that's the other side of that. Cade's kind of just been the focal point. That's kind of his team. But then Cade had that 20-game losing streak he had to deal with too. And so they both had their honestly, you can't go wrong said.
Ant was drafted to a much better situation. He was drafted with an already star player. He had Karl Anthony Towns next over, and then they grabbed Rudy and all these other guys. Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels. Just the talent around Ant has been unbelievable. To Ant's defense, if we're comparing the two, despite obviously the rosters, Ant's been in the conference finals twice. We got to put some respect on that. I think we get so caught up in who won instead of going to the conference finals 2 years in a row is a hell of a thing. I played over a decade in the NBA. I never went to the conference finals once. So we can't just shoo that off. He has gone twice. To Cade's he has not gone. Now, Ant has been in the league longer. But, that's impressive, especially in the Western Conference, with all that talent over there. So it's a tough question to get down to it, who I would take, Ant or Cade. I think you can go either way. I don't think there's a wrong answer again. With that being said, I'll just say this and outright. I'm answering the question without answering it. I don't know if there's that many players better than Cade Cunningham right now. Literally, if we're talking guards, 1, 2, hell, throw the 3s in there. I don't give a damn. It's Shea, Luka, Cade. I think those are the top 3 guards in the NBA, regardless of wings, shooting guards, point guards. Put them all together. He is 3rd. I don't see anybody else better than him. And I don't know if I would take anybody better than him. So
according to what you're saying, Cade is the 2nd best player in the Eastern Conference.
Yes, behind Giannis.